Hi, everybody, and welcome to Red Wings Rant, where tirades and impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings. They finally have a home. That's right. And the Wings, home for tonight, which was Chicago, United Center, took care of those pesky Blackhawks. That was fun. We learned a couple things about our team tonight. I boned Mike earlier. He texted me about joining, about recording a little bit earlier than this, and it took me 90 minutes to see his text. So I don't think we're gonna see Mike tonight. He's dealing with some stuff, so we're not mad at Mike. We're mad at Matt, who missed Mike's text for 90 minutes. Uh, I have an absolutely insane psycho cat in the house who is losing his mind with a cat who's right outside my front door. And the ungodly, like, howl, meow, scream that little bastard made woke up the entire family. My heart is still pounding because I had to figure out what the hell that sound was. But um, yeah, it's been a weird, like, 15 minutes, but luckily it came connected to a Red Wings victory, right? Yeah, Jim Johnson throwing out their Wings 4, Hawks 2. Jared thrown out there, really wanted Kosa to take a shot at the empty net. Yeah, I think the worst part about my stupid cat is that I had to go run upstairs and comfort the kids, so I missed most of the third period. But yeah, you guys tell me what you thought of Kosa. Of course, we got a lot of Huso, so that looked really good for quite a bit of time. Quite a stinker of a second goal for Huso to give up. That just kind of looked like he's got to get into a better rhythm. But also, it'd be fair to throw out there for Huso that hey, we've seen some crap like that last year. So we'll get into it here, guys. I'm probably gonna have to keep this one let's say around a half hour, right? Especially if my kids had not fallen back asleep from my psycho cat. That means I'm keeping them up right now, which is gonna make other people in my house, my wife, very angry. Okay, so let's get into trouble, guys. First things first, right? Moritz Seider. That's not what I wanted. Moritz Seider signs with the Wingdings. It's finally happened, ladies and gentlemen. Look, this happened. I was. I think this is flat out a win. This is just a good old win for Steve. I don't know. I love Mo, and I really think he had an opportunity here to really hold Steve, hold him down in front of the Zamboni as it's coming down to clean the ice, and keep him there till December 1st. But there's those games I play as the host of this podcast where I will, yeah, I like it. I like it when our boys who put their literally their lives, put their careers, mostly careers, their bodies on the line for a sport that we love, for our entertainment. I do like it when they get paid. But let's be real here. This is what happened. This is a great win for Steve. I think this is a tremendous number. I think Steve just locked up a first pair defenseman on a number that's going to come underneath even what the primo number is for first pair defenseman in 2020. Like, even in 2023, 22, 21, there's guys that have been getting paid more than this. And Steve just locked up this deal for 7 years. And that salary cap number is supposed to go up. We have talk about a new deal in Canada for TV rights, I think is what's supposed to make those cap numbers skyrocket in the next couple years here. And of course, there's been the cap being frozen for so long. But All that mixed together, this is an absolute super duper huge win for Steve, and this is going to mean so much for this franchise. You have a franchise defenseman, and you've got him at a tremendous deal. What's funny too is Mo made mention in his press conference, like I've got to prove people that I earned this, and I'm looking at the numbers, and I'm like, dude, you're under what I thought you could have, what you could have gotten, man. Um, all good fun here. So I'm happy for Mo. I'm happy for Steve. I'm happy for us as Red Wings fans, because now that this is the reality, I promise I will stop playing the game from here on out. That Mo could have gotten more money. I'm done. Now I'm done. And now we can just celebrate. This is a great deal for us as Red Wings fans, to bring on more talent. Not this year, but moving forward. We're not locked up for 14 mil like some of our Atlantic Division counterparts are. Okay, so you guys are my co-hosts today, like I mentioned. So we'll get into it. I know we have some highlights we could share on Twitter. I kind of had fun getting back into it today, guys. If I could ramble for a little bit here while I pull up some of the highlights, but it was nice. It was kinda nice just getting back in. I did really hate the broadcast that Chicago served up for us. Of course, it's not a real broadcast. It's a broadcast from United Center, so you have to put up with a lot of pictures of people just eating ice cream, stuff in their faces, trying to get on the big screen. But but it was fun. I was testing the old muscles, seeing what I could put together with some highlights. I'll be honest, was there's some I'll skip here, right? I think we could skip the Tyler Mott goal. Does anybody actually want to see that? Like, I don't think we're necessarily relying upon that for the rest of the season. So it was nice that it happened, but it's kind of like, all right, okay, moving on. But I think it is fair to say, and I'll come back to all the Costa comments here in a second. I really appreciate you guys, since I missed most of that third, thanks to my stupid kitty cat. But for anybody who didn't catch this game, what you are going to hear folks talk about is Marco Kasper, because this was the Marco Kasper show. This was, if I may, before we hit play here, because we only want to do it for a second, right, before the NHL pulls us off of YouTube. But this is just one example. This comes after this is Marco Kasper's second penalty kill, where the first one you were just kind of like, oh my God, who's that whirling dervish on the ice? Now, this isn't a great example of his penalty killing skills that we saw, but this is a great example of how a guy who's showing off on the penalty kill with just a high level of aggression. And hell, look at this move too. Look at how he goes. I have no idea who that is for Chicago, but going between the defenders. This move between the leg, just barely between the legs, but definitely getting this opportunity here where I don't look. I'm not gonna get too excited here, but you're looking for these little details, right? That are calling out how these guys are going to make that extra bit of difference. And a couple seconds on the penalty kill can be huge. And what Marco Kasper gives you in that moment is a couple seconds that aren't even in Detroit's defensive zone. But what we saw for the rest of these penalty kills from Marco Kasper is he's just a hound on the puck. I mean, putting Bedard like on his heels and had no idea what to do. And this was on the first power play unit too. This is where you're seeing Bedard and Taylor Hall playing together on the first power play unit. Likes of those characters couldn't figure out what to do with Marco Kasper. And I get it. Like, we don't want to like shower Bedard in praise, but my man, he's really good at hockey, right? I mean, this isn't a Chicago show, but Bedard, he could show off. And I do want to talk about too how Edmondson and Petrie actually ended up shoring up their chemistry by the end of the game and really locking down Bedard. But on the penalty kill, this was all Marco Kasper. and I know you guys saw it too. Want everybody in here? Join the Discord. I'll flash this. I'll flash our banner. There it is. Join the Discord. The chatter was just, we all agreed. Like, we're all just piping in there. It's like none of us even saw the other's message. Everyone's just like, wow, Kasper on the penalty kill. Wow, Kasper's really dogging him right now. Kasper's really dogging Bedard. Totally passes the eyeball test, but 100%, the successes on the penalty kill today, that could be found in this lineup. 100% patting Kasper on the back here. Okay. Ask you guys for some opinions on Sebastian Cossa, then I'll see what you guys think about Kasper. Gavin gave me a good one here. Cossa was solid. I just read it as Casa. Mikasa Sukasa. Jared thrown out there. Cossa bailed out Gustafsson. That I don't like. We did get a nice little decision by Gustafsson at the end of the game there to pass one off over to Mata, who snuck one in the top. Would that be stage right corner? Yeah, Darren thrown out there. Kasper was really noticeable tonight, and don't let me speak ill of his 5-on-5 play either, guys, because this was a line: Brandsegg-Nygard, Elmer Soderblom, and Marco Kasper. They did not have a ton of chemistry. I think we can all agree there. It looked, I don't want to say chippy, but the puck just seemed to be bouncing around and nobody could really get control. Nobody could really get a play set up. But getting into the zone was Marco Kasper's job, and my man killed it. But there were those few instances where things were coming together for that line. And a couple of times it was Soderblom kind of taking over. Another thing I want to bring up too is Soderblom on the power play to Brandsegg-Nygard. Huge opportunity for this power play 2 at some point this year if Nygard is staying in the States. We'll talk about that in a second. But long story short on Kasper here, there were a couple instances where Soderblom used his stick, get the puck in the zone, or his stick skills. But most of the time, this line lived and died with Marco Kasper, especially getting on the defensive side. It was 100%. I mean, we had a couple. I have a list here of, I think it was around the 10 minute, 45 second to 11 minute. I just listed that moment or that time frame as just bad Elmer. Turns the puck over twice, once in the defensive zone, once in the neutral zone. But in those instances, keep an eye on Marco Kasper because he's the guy that's bailing this team out. He's the one that looks like the pro. And Mike and I hope Mike's doing okay. We love Soderblom, but man, oh man, did he not look like a pro today? You gotta say, especially a guy of that size. Gavin thrown out there. Kasper impressed me with his heads up play and penalty kill. Dan B. Cossa looks solid today. Jim Johnson, PK 4 for 4. Jared, why do you have to be mad? It's gonna be me later to my wife. Of course, that won't go well. Gavin, Kasper needs to be given a roster spot. I mean, what are we guessing? Like he's going to get 4 more shots if we see this another 4 times or 3, or I guess maybe 4 total. If we see this another 3 times, I don't know how you keep him off. I mean, this is where we go real talk, right? Like Marco Kasper, Nate Danielson, Michael Brandsegg-Nygard, the conversation for them making this team, from Steve's own words, is that they need to be able to make an impact on this team before he says, yes, you can say goodbye to your AHL counterparts. You're a Detroit Red Wing. Those are those key minutes that we were just talking about on the PK. I think that's what you're looking at from those 3 guys. And I think we might have seen a hint of it from, I'm gonna take a shot here. I'm gonna say MBN, because Michael Brandsegg-Nygard is way too long, and I feel like you can't just pick one of those names on the last name side. So we're gonna call him MBN. I thought he showed a thing or two on the power play, but yeah, Gavin, I think. Oh, is that not showing up? Oh, there she blows. Kasper needs that roster spot. Yes, for sure. Dan B thrown out there. Love the Mo deal. Yes. For the Detroit Red Wings, for Steve Yzerman, for us as fans. Great deal. Poor Mo leaving money on the table. Crimson, shocked you're doing an episode this late. Hey, I'm gonna get in trouble. It's probably never gonna happen again. Jim Johnson, Mo is not overpaid. Jokers think otherwise. Yeah, I do think he was underpaid. I think that's especially we're gonna feel that in the next couple of years too. Crimson, Kasper, and Lombardi made Veleno look invisible. Yeah, I thought holy mackerel, like if you're trying to find a space for these guys on the roster, like I would love to see Kasper sort of get a third line opportunity here. There's a guy like Andrew Kopp who could live on the fourth line. You're gonna pay him anyway, whatever. But Veleno, man, Frank Nazar absolutely schooled our boy Veleno on some puck entries today. It was ugly, and you got to think about the experience level between the two. And what you're going to be asking Joe Veleno to do is be uber responsible while he's on the ice. It's a preseason game. Let's not like overthink anything here. But those are the types of things where if you're seeing Kasper playing his nuts off for 60 minutes, Lombardi as well. I just, you're trying to find where to fit those guys in the lineup. Hey, Veleno's making a little bit of cash, and sometimes that it kind of pushes guys into the lineup over other guys. If this is about putting the best team on the ice, and you had to decide based on this game, yeah, Veleno, check out what it looks like from the upper deck. Keep an eye on the boys from up there. We'll handle it down here. Gavin agrees with Crimson on that one. Yeah, again, another one here. Kasper better than Veleno. Jared, that little boy eating ice cream. Yeah, for sure. You're kind of watching these games when they are just like the stadium or the arena broadcast, and it's those moments where you're like, oh, right, that's what we're doing right now. It's like, what? Oh yeah, we don't need to see Lucas Raymond highlights. We don't need to see Marco Kasper highlights. What we need to see, people eating ice cream. Man. Dr. Disinfect, Kasper the Unfriendly. Yeah, that one I was trying to mess around with. I was kind of playing around with that in my head because he on the penalty kill, like he's a junkyard dog. So he's not like the friendly ghost in any sort of way. He's just a demon dog, man. Like straight out of Resident Evil. Like that, that play that he showed off today. I mean, shoot, it looked beautiful. We did see a lot of breakaways today, and I think natural stat trick had us at like 70% of Corsi chances by like the end of the game. Let's pull this up. Let's refresh this right now. All right. So 55% of the Corsi chances. Ooh, the Blackhawks are actually going to walk away with a higher expected goals for percentage. Red Wings kind of gave the game away out in front of the net based on what natural stat tricks letting us know, which is kind of what everybody guessed. But anyway, I haven't taken a hard look at these numbers. Just want to pull these up for a second. But yeah, 100%. We got to figure out a fun way to use this Kasper the Friendly Ghost because there's some good opportunities there. Yeah, Dan B, those three young guys could force a few vets out, and like I mentioned too, like that Veleno, man, not motivated today. We'll say that. But again, if you had to base it off today, if you had to, I know what I would pick. Jay throw it out there. Kasper, Mazur, both impressed me. I think it's a good time we could take a couple stops here over on Twitter to pull up some of the highlights. Let's do one here because we're gonna look at a couple of goals, right? Let's take a look at that play by Mazur here, keeping the play alive for Petrie to make it 2-2. Again, not really the sort of play we were seeing from Joe Veleno tonight. But hey, we've got a juicy highlight from Mazur. Not quite giving us the Mazur laser that we were trying to brand out a couple years ago when he was drafted, but hell of an effort here. Put in some good effort out in front of the net today too, especially on the power play. But yeah, well, I mean, you take a look at this. This makes sense. This isn't. We're not going to blow your mind here. There wasn't like a huge strategic choice here. This was just playing your nuts off. And then pointed out online by our podcast counterparts, the Grindline podcast, Ryan D at Ryan33, I think, points out like this was just chaos in front of the net, and I really like that line that he tweeted out. But yeah, a great play by Mazur to keep the puck alive. Like let's keep this possession going, and hell of a time to do it too. Because I mean, if we do want to mix in some sort of conversation here about what the I don't know, the hockey smarts. Let's not call it strategy. Let's call it hockey smarts. But you're basically pulling in with this dive play. You're pulling in 3 Blackhawks, and the Red Wings here are going to notice that, and you're going to see Soderblom has his job, right? He's got to be out in front of the net. Kasper, our friendly ghost, is just going to clog it up even more. And it's good to have Blackhawks out in front of the net too, like just getting in the way of Mrazek. I think this was still Mrazek at this point. Who cares? But Mazur makes that play. We get all of this opportunity now to do whatever we want out in front of the net. And Kasper's going to help out too. And Petrie just, you know what? We're going to rag on Petrie all season, but let's give him his dues here. He sees that there's that traffic out in front. He's a vet. He's going to throw a seeing eye single right up the middle here. Yeah, Mrazek couldn't do anything about it. Yeah, just up and down. Great play here. Loving this line. Loving Kasper. And this was a rare opportunity for Mazur to get to play with them because he did start on the 4th line, I believe. But great goal. Just fun things to look at here when you talk about what you want to see in the preseason. You want to see these guys putting in the effort to try and win spots. We've seen a lot of that. We saw a lot of that from Kasper. It's good to see the effort from Mazur. I don't care about Petrie. He scored, but Soderblom's at least doing the job. It's just good to see these guys kind of working out, like for Petrie at least. It's good to see him just sort of working out the what shoulds you'd be doing. Is that a thing? Has anybody ever said the what shoulds you be doing? That sounds so dumb now. Gavin, move out Veleno, put Kasper on the 3rd, move Fisher to the line 4. Mott or Fisher could play 4th line center. I'm all about it. Let's do it. Ketzel, what's going on, man? See your board. What was that? That was like 20 minutes ago. I'm finally starting to catch up here. Dan B, why are we doing the fantasy draft on Thursday at 10 p.m.? That's a great question. Anybody want to be a part of that fantasy draft? Because you got to join the Discord and then talk to me so I can add you to it. Did I really schedule it for 10 o'clock? I feel like there's a time zone issue here. Yeah, I got that sucker scheduled for 7:30. Dan, what are you doing on the West Coast, man? All right. Well, I'll adjust based on that. No problem. We'll figure it out. But we'll get a conversation going in the Discord, and then we'll figure out a good draft time. Guys, if you want to join our fantasy league, what we give away to the winner is either tickets to a game or a jersey. And right now, your man Ketzel, who I just said hello to, he's been the winner 2 years in a row. Or actually, keep me honest there, Ketzel. But I think what you got an Edvinsson. I think you're carrying an Edvinsson number 3 on your back, like the old Edvinsson number. But yeah, keep me honest. What did you win twice? Was that 2 years in a row for you, my man? Casey, good call. That's 4:30. Man, am I an idiot? Yeah, what the hell? Where are you, Dan? How is it starting at 10 o'clock for you? Good call, Casey. Man, I feel like a fucking idiot right now. Yeah, what the hell's going on, Dan? Where are you? So what else happened in this game? I did talk about too, like early on in the game, Petrie, I had here at the 6-minute mark of the game. Petrie's pinching. Evanson makes a bad choice. Blackhawks get a breakaway. Good save by Husso. Had 8:40. Petrie goes behind the net. Edvinsson left alone out front. I'm not blaming on Edvinsson, but another wide open shot for the Blackhawks. Saved by Husso. Again, first 30 minutes, great. Looked great for Husso. I think it definitely turned on him at some point. But yeah, what this looked like to me, because the rest of the game, I thought not only did they have a little bit more chemistry, but I also liked the second half of the game, and it did kind of feel like Bedard could still move the puck around, but he wasn't getting the same looks, or he wasn't getting as open. For one, I wish I'd clipped this replay, but at one point you had, and this is essentially what Edvinsson and Petrie did so well, was they kept themselves in front of, or between Bedard and the goalie. I mean, at one point we had a shot that came from Bedard between the circles, and you actually saw a crisscross of Edvinsson and Petrie's stick. Like, this was something where they just decided, and it's a preseason game, whatever. But here's the good part. So Petrie and Edvinsson see the sticks cross, puck goes flying into the bleachers. Just solid defense there. Don't give up anything easy. Kind of felt like what was going on, but what we did see is that Petrie and Edvinsson were starting to support each other as the game went on. So I started taking notes early on just some clunky looking play from the two of them. And there were a couple of times that even Petrie caught himself out of play that I didn't have notated here, but Edvinsson sort of cleaned it up. And then it just kind of feels like if Edvinsson rookies it up, which is fine, because even though he won't technically be a rookie this year, this will be like, this is it, right? Like, this is the first Edvinsson year. So from our eyes, I'm going to still call him a rookie. If that happens, like I mentioned at the 6-minute mark, it could really go bad for that pair, because Petrie's just consistently going to be Petrie. But Edvinsson can clean a little bit of it up. And if they can start to get the chemistry we saw in the second half of this game, and we know we're going to have Seider control in that first pair, this could really start to turn in our favor. So I really like what we saw the second half of this game between that line pair. There was a question much earlier about Albert Johansson. I did mark on here, 9:30 mark. We got our first Albert, like, I'm going to rush with the forwards. Just the thing I noticed about that, so that was at the 9:30 mark in the first period, gets a shot on net. He actually joined the rush, left the ice. Just a really smart play, because what we're doing there is bringing another defender on the other side of the ice to shore up, just in case, right down the middle, just in case something went wrong, just in case the shot off net did go in a direction they didn't see coming, goes in a super negative, just bounce against the Red Wings. It was actually just a really smart choice on when to do it from Albert, because, again, like I mentioned, he's going up with 3 forwards. There's another defenseman coming on the ice. So if things went poorly, and I'm just assuming that he made the choice to join the rush because he knew this was going down, the Red Wings would have been covered. It wouldn't have just been a straight up breakaway. Probably would have been an odd man rush if the puck did bounce the wrong way, but that's sort of the chance you're taking. And I did like a couple times too, Albert just got himself into position when he had a player out in front of the, I think either Weeks or Mrazek, but I think this was in the third period. But he just put himself in position a couple of times to get a shot on net. Wasn't anything spectacular, but it was something where he created that opportunity himself. He waited for somebody to get out in front of the goaltender. I just like that. I like that aspect of it. And you know what? I think we were talking about it before. I liked Mazur going for the front of the net a couple of times in this game on 5-on-5. And I think that was one of those instances. So it was just Mazur out in front of the net. Johansson's taking advantage of that, gets a shot on. I liked what I saw. I don't think it was spectacular. I don't think it was head turning like it could be for Marco Kasper and getting a spot on this roster, but Very solid play. Very happy with a lot of the stuff I saw today. I see a GLJ, absolutely. So what am I missing from GLJ? I think we're finally seeing the benefit of the prospects having played the same systems in Grand Rapids and being able to just come in and know what's happening on the ice. Yeah, they definitely, I guess, like I just mentioned, I feel like they got to that point. I felt like things were a little bit clunky for a couple of lines. I thought individuals were playing well. I didn't think, and I think in the first half of the game, again, individuals played well. I don't think there was any one line or D pairing that really got it till the second period. And you could really turn around and say that like this team is playing as a cohesive unit. So I think GLJ, I would say that because of what you're saying, and I think this is where you're going, like they could adjust and get on the same page because they've all been working through this system for so long. So that's a huge benefit. And we did see this team, like I said, I thought the second half started to look like things were coming together, started to look like the no-brainer stuff was getting put together. And then that's where, yeah, you win 4-2, right? Instead of losing or having to squeak one out. Get that separation on a bad team, and hey, you take advantage of it. Great points. I love it. I love doing these post game shows when we're all like in a good mood and happy. Dan B, love seeing Mazur driving the net. Holmstrom 2.0. Loved it too. I did think his comparable, what I hoped Mazur would be was also on the ice tonight, but was Tyler Bertuzzi playing for the Blackhawks. Tyler, I don't know if you remember, what I loved was his play out in front of the net on the power play where it just kind of felt like he could get in front of the net and with zero space still be able to get a puck on net, like get the puck down low on the power play and still right up tight up on the goalie, would still be able to find some shots on net. Like those are the things I really miss about Tyler. But when it comes to like the gritty play, like that's something that Mazur with a little bit of, offensive oomph, which is going to come from the effort. I think that's the thing Mazur can bring in. I really couldn't comment or claim I know that Mazur could go 1-for-1 on some of the more skilled stuff that Bertuzzi's done. I know Mazur hasn't not impressed us. As before he even became a Griffin, we were excited. Again, we were branding out the Mazur Razor possible connection a year ago. We didn't quite get there, but this is just something too. What I love seeing from Mazur today, I think Dan is what you're calling out. It's just a gritty, tough play. And right now, while I was watching this game, I'm watching Gritty Tigers on Sunday. I keep watching the Gritty Lions. Maybe that's the culture of Detroit. All Detroit sports teams will just emulate Dan Campbell, who he was as a tight end. And then we'll win a Super Bowl, about to win a World Series, and we'll go grab a Stanley Cup. And then maybe the Pistons will figure it out someday. Who knows? Ketzel, I missed most of the first. GLJ, oh yeah, it was chunky starting off, and that's expected, right? But to your point, GLJ, like coming back to the working in the same systems, like that's the benefit of that. When you start poorly, you don't really let the game. Okay, let's not talk in absolutes, but it's much easier to not let the game get out of hand because you guys are all working the same system and doing it for so long. And I think you nailed it. I'm going to say G. I think you nailed it, G. I think that's huge. And I think that could be like what we saw tonight in the adjustments and how they all kind of became a more cohesive unit. I think that's the evidence to say that your point is 100% accurate. Ketzel, last year, Ray would have rang that shot off the post. This year, banks that shit right in. Loved it. I mean, he made it look easy peasy, right? I mean, that just looked way too easy. Let's pull up the replay, right? Like we got to do some celebrating here for our new 8-year man. We'll take a look straight from Red Wings Rant Twitter account. Since we weren't really getting highlights from anywhere else tonight, you guys had to rely upon this lowly old account. Hey, this is nothing new. Hey, how about I share the replay? Jesus, you dumb shit. Okay. This is nothing new. This is Larkin doing what he does best. Finding sweet baby Ray. Look at this. Over the circle. I mean, clearly this is this isn't great. This isn't a great job, if I may, from the Blackhawks. This is not the guy to keep open who's going to glide in between the circles. I think this is Weeks and net at this point. Um, living up to his name. We watched that rip. Mazur out in front, getting the traffic at least on the other side. It looks like the Blackhawks really were making sure Mazur wasn't going to be able to make any follow-up plays. Vlasic's up front too. Like, my man is really just doing the work to make sure that Weeks can't see Jack. But this is what you want to see from Sweet Baby Ray. This is the easy stuff. This is the stuff like Ketzel throws out there. He would have rang this off the post last year, but not this year. And you get this shot where Vlasic's doing the Thomas Holmstrom for you out in front of Weeks. And for some reason, they were just really honed in on Mazur out front. You're going to give, I'm going to say it, you're going to give the elite forward, Lucas Raymond, that space. Hey, Ray just spent a whole year watching Patrick Kane do this, right? And at some point, we're going to be talking about that narrative again and again and again and again. That Lucas Raymond just spent a whole year learning from one of the best forwards of all time last year. Right there, right down the bench, it's Patrick Kane. And hey, the side of the shot, right, where the shot's coming from. That's not 1-for-1 on Kane and Raymond here, but the look of the sucker, right? The patience, the getting in position. It's just coming. It's coming from the right side, right? But Sweet Baby Ray puts us in the back of the net. This was a great looking play. This was the goal of your elite forwards. Bang. Well, look, guys, it's a preseason game. We don't want to look too much into this stuff. I think we can feel pretty good right now. Ketzel throwing out there, we're about to have 340 goal scorers. And goddamn, if this defense, if I think it's all about Edmondson and Petrie. Shit, I might give them every preseason game. I don't know how that really works. I don't know what those conversations really sound like. I'd really want to make sure that their chemistry has an opportunity to gel and you come out the gates. I took a look at the October schedule, threw it in the Discord. I said 4-4-2. Doesn't look like an easy schedule this year. I know I've gone a little bit back and forth on how I feel about the Red Wings this upcoming season. But I don't think that there's other teams around the NHL who have just kind of thrown this season in the garbage. So I think every month actually looks kind of tough, to be completely honest. I mean, even Montreal is not going to be anything to screw around with, but we're opening up with Pittsburgh and Nashville at home. But look, Pittsburgh struggled last year. They're still not going to be easy. And Nashville had their major upgrades. I mean, if you don't, I guess what I'm saying is it would be pretty legit to start 0-2. I'm not saying we will. I actually think we'll start 2-0, but we also are going to face Pittsburgh and Nashville a couple more times on the road. But anyway, I threw out 4-4-2. It's kind of it's definitely the pessimistic look at October for us. But if things really do hold up with that second pair, I think a lot of good change could be found with this team. I think on the forward side, they can take a few more chances, but I also think that comes equipped with in this lineup. I want to see something new up the middle. I do not want to see Compher and Kopp and Larkin as 1, 2, 3. I really want to be excited about something interesting happening in this lineup, and maybe I'm a moron. Maybe I should just want for what Steve gives us. Maybe that's the truth. But man, did I see enough from Kasper tonight that I would love to see him somewhere in that middle six, shore up our penalty kill. Like I mentioned, if Edvinsson and Petrie can get it together, if you can shore up that penalty kill, you can have two solid D pairings going out there, spread some of the top unit responsibility away from Moritz Seider for a teeny bit every now and then, every game. And then this 340 goal scorers that Ketzel's thrown out there. Jokes aside, I mean, if Raymond lights it up, you've still got Larkin as an opportunity, DeBrincat as an opportunity, Tarasenko as an opportunity, Kane definitely is an opportunity. I mean, Ketzel's screwing around, but like legit, there's some goals that could be scored on this team, and if they could shore up that penalty kill and the defense, the way the penalty kill and defense look tonight against a not so great Blackhawks team, but again, I think what we saw was let's limit the dumb things, which we saw in the first period, but they slowed them down. All right, guys, I'm gonna go get in. Oh, Jared, look at you being the producer of the show. Wrap it up, Matt. All right, guys, I'm gonna go get in trouble. I love this game. This is exactly what we wanted to see in the first preseason game. Had some good fun. You see one of your top prospects play his nuts off. We saw that. We saw it a couple of times. Taking your guys' word on it, solid play from Kosa, but 100%. This is a good way to start the NHL season. And we won't be doing post games every night, but this is kind of fun. So I'll try and squeeze in a few more of these. But we'll see you guys next Wednesday. And anybody who wants in on that draft, find the Discord. It's in the notes for this, and hit us up, and we'll send you an email. I think there's a couple spots left. All right, guys, have a good night.